never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Albertsons and all Safeways. When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making,
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine,
boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy. Because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A sixth inning that went sideways last night for one team and didn't go sideways for the other. And have the Suns' offseason plans slowly but surely been revealed? All of that on the Thursday edition here of the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. And yes, back up today on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Producer Evan behind the glass, 480-864-1060 if you want to get in contact with the show. Over here on this side, Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours on this Thursday. Let's dive right in. Baseball game tonight. The rubber match. The seventh meeting between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks this season. And it was all going according to plan over the first 5+ innings of the game last night. It was the sixth inning where it went sideways for Corbin Burnes and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
A 3-1 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's an off day. It's off to St. Louis next, where it looks like the Diamondbacks will be rejoined by their closer, Justin Martinez, to be added to their bullpen. But last night, a 3-1 loss, all because of one inning, the sixth inning in particular. Corbin Burnes was cruising last night. Corbin Burnes was doing exactly what we said you would love to see from him last night. Entering that game, we knew the Diamondbacks were extremely shorthanded down in the bullpen. Did not have their A-plus relievers, or whatever we're calling their A-plus relievers right now. They didn't have any of those guys available. Their current de facto closer, Shelby Miller, unavailable last night, pitching 3 days in a row. So you knew you were going to need to get some length from Corbin Burnes. You were going to need him to go 7+. We said even 6+ felt like you were asking for some trouble last night. And Corbin Burnes, over the first 4 innings of that game last night, was perfect. Over those first 4 innings, was dominating the Dodgers lineup. Throwing up zeros, yes, that's the important first thing. But the other thing that he was doing was keeping his pitch count low. I couldn't help last night but pay very close attention to when Corbin Burnes threw his last pitch of those first couple of innings to look at where his pitch count was. Because you just knew that night last night, you needed 7 at least from Corbin Burnes. And through the first 6 innings, he gave you exactly that. Zeros, a low pitch count. You were dreaming of him being able to get into the 7th, potentially to get into the 8th inning. It was going to be a nice, quiet, easy night for your bullpen on a night when you needed it to be quick and easy and quiet out there. And then the 6th inning was a huge problem for the Diamondbacks because with a 1-0 lead, thanks to a Ketel Marte home run, this was a story of one mistake between the two starting pitchers over the first 5 innings of this contest last night. Dustin May made one mistake to Ketel Marte that he promptly deposited into the right center field seats. That was it. It was free, easy for Corbin Burnes, and other than the Marte home run, Dustin May had that sinker-sweeper combo working, putting the Diamondbacks batters into fits all night long. Then the 6th inning rolled around. Gabby Moreno gets on base with an infield single. Josh Naylor singles, and now you're set up 1st and 3rd with 1 out. This is where you're going to break through on Dustin May. This is where you're going to add those very important insurance runs. And Corbin Burnes, who had been pitching with 0 margin for error up until that point, you were going to give him a little bit of that margin for error. And you felt like on a night like last night, if you got him 2, if you got him 3, that was going to be enough. A foul out by Suarez and a ground out by Pavin Smith. You get nothing on the board. What happens in the bottom of the 6th? Infield hit. Betts single, sets up 1st and 2nd with 1 out. Freddie Freeman strikes out. You get to 2 outs. You think you're going to do exactly to the Dodgers what they just did to you, work out of a jam. And Teoscar Hernandez hits a 413-foot home run to center field. It's 3-1, and that's it. That is the story of this baseball game last night. A sluggish offense for the Diamondbacks the last 2 games, 4 runs in total. If you take out that 9-inning outburst that we saw in the first game of this series, a quiet offense over the last couple of days, and a team that took advantage of an opportunity in the 6th inning, and another team that didn't. The Dodgers last night took advantage of an opening that Corbin Burnes gave them. The Diamondbacks did not take advantage of the opening that Dustin May left them. That was the difference in this ball game last night. That easy, that simple. The 6th inning is where this game was won for the Dodgers and where it was lost for the Diamondbacks. No 9th inning rally to speak of. No magical moment like Gabby Moreno had the night prior, hitting a home run to send things into extras. The 6th inning is where this game was won and lost for the 2 sides. Good teams, great teams, when you leave the door open, they kick the door down. Corbin Burnes just slightly left the door open and almost was able to slam the door shut. The door was basically already closed when he got the 2nd out. But Teoscar Hernandez hits the big home run to center field, and that was it. One mistake. One mistake to Teoscar Hernandez, one mistake to Ketel Marte, a 3-1 win for the Dodgers, a series loss for the Diamondbacks, and now they're going to try to flush it because the last 2 days were rough. Losing a game in extras after you take a 3-1 lead, playing, getting, and again, this isn't on Corbin Burnes. He gave you 7 innings, 3 runs. He pitched, up until the 6th inning, he pitched perfectly for the Diamondbacks. They just couldn't get him enough run support. And so you have a really bad taste in your mouth because you are 3-4 against the Dodgers this season, and it doesn't feel like you should be 3-4. Your record should be better than 3-4 in your first 7 games against the team that you're looking up at in the National League West standings.
Yeah, I mean, he made one mistake.
One mistake.
And it wasn't even that bad of a pitch. It's a slider outside. He probably left it a little over the heart of the plate. But you just, when you can't score, and it comes back on Eugenio Suarez again, who for the 2nd night in a row has 1st and 3rd with less than 2 outs and can't get the run home. Both times he fouls out, in foul or pops out in foul territory, and you've left runners on, lack of opportunities.
Yeah, in the 7th inning they got 1st and 3rd. And Marte grounded out to end that inning with 2 outs. So they got another chance to immediately respond in the top of the 7th. You talked about leaving guys on base. These are the numbers that you always circle. 7 men left on base. And the more important thing, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. So they didn't get a ton of run scoring opportunities, but the couple that they did have, they just were unable to cash in a key spot.
And they stack on each other from last night, too. I mean, this team last night didn't score, or 2 nights ago, didn't score a run until the 9th inning. You get the Gabby solo shot, and then all of a sudden you go into extras, you get a home run from Carroll. But other than that, where's the offense been? Took you more than 9 2 nights ago, and last night you only put up 1 again. So in 18 innings of regular, not extra inning baseball, this team's only scored 2 runs.
Yeah, they scored 12 runs the other night against the Rockies, and in the 4 or 5 games since, they've scored 14 runs in total. So there are a couple of players in particular that are struggling. They're not hitting the way that they hit in April. John over on the YouTube chat asks a question, and this feels like he's just asking, but it feels harsh. He asked, is this a game that got away? And I think by asking that question, John, you're asking the question of, do we add it to our list of blown games? Now, the list of blown games is the bullpen giving games away. So just based on the nature of us focusing on the bullpen, talking about the games that directly the bullpen gave up, no, this is not a game that the Diamondbacks gave away. This is not a game that they lost because the bullpen came in and lit a lead on fire and just gave away the game like the other night when Shelby Miller had a 2-run lead and blew that. This does not quantify. This is the Dodgers took advantage of the one opportunity that they got in the game. The Diamondbacks did not take advantage of their opportunities. And that's baseball, Susan. That's going to happen sometimes. So this is not one that gets added to a list. This is not one that you say, oh, they should have won this one, or this is one they're going to look back on. All of the games on our list, all's now 7, I think we're up to 6 or 7 games.
7 games on the list
that are on the list. Those ones hurt. Last night hurts. It doesn't hurt to that level. It doesn't hurt to the level of having a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 10th and blowing it. This doesn't hurt as much as the rally that they made 2 Fridays ago against the Dodgers and had an 11-8 lead in the 9th inning and lost 14-11. It doesn't hurt as much as Eugenio Suarez hitting 4 home runs in a game and you still lose. This doesn't hurt as much as being in Philadelphia with a 2-1 lead late and going to the wrong reliever and a pair of solo home runs, you lose 3-2.
Or not being able to get the final 12 outs against the Rockies and giving up however many in those last couple innings.
This pales in comparison to all of those games. This is a game where the Dodgers just executed better. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks both had limited opportunities in this game. The Dodgers took advantage of their chances. The Diamondbacks didn't. It is that simple. It is that easy to recap that game. Corbin Burnes gave you a start good enough for you to win last night. Your offense had multiple chances throughout the game, in the 6th inning and the 7th inning in particular, to win. You went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. You left 7 guys on base last night. To just show you how razor tight this margin was, the Dodgers left 3 men on base. They went 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Can you guess the one hit that they got in their 2 chances with runners in scoring position? Can you guess which at bat in the game it was? Teoscar Hernandez's 3-run home run. That was the difference in this game. It's that simple. They just didn't execute last night. Didn't have a ton of chances, but didn't execute on the 3 at-bats that they had with runners in scoring position. The Dodgers did. It hurts to lose a Corbin Burnes start. It hurts to lose a start that was going that well. The dominant nature. This was a pitcher's duel through the first 4 innings of this game. This was like you were playing a baseball video game with a buddy and nobody is interested in working a count. Everybody's swinging, putting the ball in play. Let's get a move on. That's what that game felt like last night.
And that was the Dustin May start that we were told to expect when this guy came up as a Dodger, right? That sinker was moving, that sweeper was moving, and they played off each other so well. And he's been hit or miss for a lot of his big league career. Last night, he was dominant.
So it's interesting because he's made 2 starts now against the Diamondbacks. Last night, the 6 innings with the 1 earned run. And then Saturday, May 10th, he made a start, 6 2/3, 7 hits, the 2 earned runs. Other than that, he has struggled. 5 innings against the Angels, gave up 4 runs. 5 2/3 against the Braves, gave up 4 runs. Gave up 7 runs in 5 innings against the Cubs. 3 runs in 5 1/3 against the Marlins. Everybody else has seemingly solved the Dustin May riddle. Diamondbacks so far this season in 2 starts have put up 3 runs in those 2 starts. So they have not been able to crack Dustin May. I'll tell you, he had the sinker working. He had the sweeper working. He had both. He threw, was to a lefty batter. I forget who it was, but he threw the first 2 pitches were a sweeper in on the back foot and then threw a sinker from basically the same arm slot that then broke the other way. I don't know what you're supposed to do. They look like the same pitch coming out of the hand. One, if you're a left-handed batter, is running in towards your body. The other runs away from you. I'm not sure what you are supposed to do with that. He had pinpoint accuracy last night, had the sinker working. The sweeper was filthy. He had guys guessing and flailing at that sweeper. It was just a really dominant performance. The Diamondbacks were unable to figure him out.
In Naylor's first at bat, he throws sinker in that front doorism, catches the zone.
Starts at the front hip and works right to the edge of the zone.
Yep. And then he throws cutting the other way in.
Yep.
So
now I've got 2 fastballs
fouled that off,
going 2 opposite directions I'm trying to pick up on.
And now he just broke me off with a back foot sweeper.
Yeah, here you go. Here's a sweeper right at your back foot. Good luck. Try to catch up to this. Yeah, he was dominant last night. And so was Corbin Burnes through the first, 7 innings, 3 runs. You look at the final stat sheet in the box score. It was a good night for Corbin Burnes. But those first 4 or 5 innings, he was excellent. Lights out. Low pitch count. Just pouring over cutters, mixing in a curveball, keeping you guessing with some of his other stuff, just to show me pitches. He was really good last night. Unfortunate that the Diamondbacks were unable to execute on their limited chances, whereas the Dodgers did. It's that simple. Teoscar Hernandez executed. The Diamondbacks didn't. When we come back, well, we think it is a foregone conclusion that they will trade him. Is that really the case? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Breaking Benjamin. Stay forever. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated, and the lawyer you choose needs to be equipped to handle them. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Memo to Minnesota and the T-Wolves. It is the first one to 4, not the first one to 1. And I'm not telling you to slam the panic button after that beatdown OKC just put on you. But if I were you, I would at least know where it is, because if the Thunder put another hospital job on you again in game 2, you're going to need it. And as far as rest versus rust, I thought it was OKC that was coming off a tough 7-game series with that short turnaround. If that's the case, why did Minnesota look so gassed and OKC so fresh? Because they're just that deep, that talented, and that versatile. And I don't want to hear about SGA being a free throw merchant or, quote, a generational whistle. All great players get calls, and at least he doesn't go down like he takes a shotgun blast like LaFlop. Play dead and then peek through his hands to see if the refs are buying it.
Who, me?
I'm Jim Rome. Hashtag on X. Remember to follow me on the X platform at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. Coming up in about 15 minutes from now, which position is the strongest on defense for the Arizona Cardinals? We'll answer that question about 15 minutes from now. And hey, if you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app or streaming us on KDUS1060.com, listen for your chance to win 4 tickets. The Diamondbacks take on the Washington Nationals on Saturday, May 31st at Chase Field. You can also get your Geraldo Perdomo bobblehead. It is Domo's night at Chase Field on May 31st, courtesy of Chaz Roberts. We've got your chance to win 4 tickets to that, and you show up early. Got to be one of the first people there to get that Geraldo Perdomo bobblehead. All we're doing is giving you the tickets. You then have to do the extra work of getting there ahead of everybody else, beating the masses to get your hands on a Geraldo Perdomo bobble. We've got your chance to win 4 tickets, or you can get your tickets over at dbacks.com/SGT. Producer Evan earlier this week had a buy or sell that asked me, would at least one of Kevin Durant and or Bradley Beal be wearing a Suns jersey next season? And if I remember correctly, I sold that take. I said both guys would be gone next season.
You did sell.
I sold the idea that one of them would be on the team next season. To quote the great Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends, because some recent reporting is leaving the door, I would say more than slightly ajar, to the idea of Kevin Durant remaining a member of the Phoenix Suns. Jake Fisher, NBA insider, who works with Mark Stein on his Steinline Substack, had this quote yesterday. Quote, "It has been widely anticipated that Durant will be back on the trade market this summer. A return to the desert next season, though, has not been fully ruled out." End quote. So while a trade has always been the common thought amongst everybody, people in the league, people in the media, fans, everybody has assumed
He can't run this back. Kevin Durant's gone. He's your one trade asset that you have to be able to move. You are trading him. Jake Fisher is saying, not so fast, my friends. A reunion or him being on this team next season, a return, not ruled out. And I know that the moment that I say that information to all of you, you have some concern. You are worried that this is going to be the same old Suns, even though they're changing the GM, even though they're changing the head coach. You are worried that they are just going to try to convince you that running it back is in the best interest of this organization. Allow me to try to be the optimist for once. I know that's not normally what I do here on the program, but let me be the optimist for once. All this report is saying is that they're not ruling it out. And you know what? Good. Don't rule it out. The same way we said, have the most comprehensive, have the most robust, have the most wide expanding head coaching search that you can conduct. Talk to anybody that is willing to talk to you. Talk to anybody that is interested in sitting down and having a conversation about the Phoenix Suns and about this head coaching job. Even if you don't think they are going to be one of your finalists. Talk to everybody. We are in the second round of Suns head coaching interviews. There's still 9 people in the mix. That is because Brian Gregory, the new general manager, is taking his time. He's crossing every T and he's dotting every I. And he deserves the space in order to do so. If the Suns want to take their time, if Brian Gregory wants to take his time and make sure, listen, I know everybody thinks we should trade Kevin Durant, but maybe we just slow down a second. Maybe we just make sure that we feel good about this, that we really, truly think that this is the right decision for this organization. You can choose the path of overthinking and you can choose the path of underthinking when it comes to a major life decision. Buying a house, getting married, what college you go to, buying a new car. There are some people that will overthink those decisions. I am one of those people. Me making any purchase over $100 is like I'm going to the dentist for a root canal. I have to do so much research. I have to watch so many YouTube videos of reviews of different products. I have to go to the store and see it in person. It takes me 4 weeks to make any major purchase in my life. I want to buy a new pair of shoes. Takes forever. Takes forever for me to make a decision like that. I am a chronic overthinker. I need every detail, every potential scenario mapped out. If that is what the Suns are choosing to do, if that is what Brian Gregory wants to do, this is the most important decision that this organization is going to make this offseason. No, maybe the head coach is a close 1A. I sometimes teeter back and forth between which of those two is most important. But one of the most important things they're going to do this summer is whether or not they trade Kevin Durant. And so if they are going to open up the phone lines, engage with other teams on the trade talk, I want them to feel 100% convicted that that is the right decision for this organization. I still think all of this needs to end in them trading Kevin Durant. But if they want to take their time and they want to cross every T and dot every I, if they want the time and the space to explore everything that could potentially happen this offseason, Brian Gregory deserves that opportunity. I know many of us are not a fan of Brian Gregory in the GM chair, but I have always said I am rooting for him to succeed in this role. I want him to be successful. I want him to turn this around. And if taking his time and thinking all of this through and being deliberate, and I don't think that's a word we used about the last couple of years of Phoenix Suns' major decision-making process. We have never, when they went from Vogel to Bud, did we think that was deliberate? It was intentful? It was meticulous? Or do we think they were just lunging from decision to decision and thinking that they were making the right call? So if Brian Gregory wants to be deliberate, if Brian Gregory wants to make sure, hey, let's just not rule this out right now, I fully support him going through that process. But I think we still need to get to the place at the end of the day where trading Kevin Durant is on the menu for this team this summer. If we do get to a place where Kevin Durant is wearing a Suns uniform next season, I will think that the decision-making process here failed. But this is a good sign. It is a good sign that Brian Gregory and the front office that he is building and the organization is taking a more meticulous approach. I would rather them overthink this decision than underthink this decision. I would rather them make sure they cover all of their bases than to not even consider any alternatives, because this extends beyond just Kevin Durant. I want them to take this decision-making process into their head coaching search, and it certainly looks like they're doing that, into their draft plans this summer, into what type of free agents they acquire, into what their plan of attack is for rehauling this roster. I'm going to butcher the phrase, so producer Evan, back me up here. How you do anything is how you do everything. I think I got this right.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
How you do the little things shows me how you're going to do the big things. And this is a big thing. But how you handle yourself with hiring a head coach, with trading Kevin Durant, or at least going through the process, is going to tell me how successful you are going to be as a GM. And so far, I like the process. I think the process is the right. You have this look on your face like you're stunned.
No,
I nailed it, right?
Nailed it.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
How you do anything is how you do everything. Suggests that the way you approach and execute one task or situation often reflects how you approach and execute other tasks.
They do not give these jobs to anybody. You want to sit in this chair, you want to be in front of this microphone, you got to be able to pull up, you have to be able to pull out quotes like that. You got to be able to say things smartly like I just did. They don't give these jobs away to anybody. Nailed it. You were doubting me. You had never heard the quote before.
Well, yesterday you didn't get it.
Listen, baseball players go to the Hall of Fame. They make out 70% of the time. Okay, if I have a good radio career and I bat 300, I'm okay with that. I'll take that. I'll take batting 300.
Yeah, it's a Hall of Fame batting average.
It's a Hall of Fame batting average. I will take that batting average. How Brian Gregory does the first couple of things on his docket is going to tell us how successful he is going to be as a general manager. And so I have no problem if he wants to take his time. I have no problem if he wants to make sure, hey, I'm leaning towards trading Kevin Durant. I strongly think we should do it. But I need somebody in this room that's going to play devil's advocate. I need somebody in this room that's going to give me the counter opinion and make me think about something. If that's what's going on here, I love it. I love it. If you're actually considering keeping Kevin Durant around and you are leaning more towards doing that, I don't love it. I don't like it as much. 480-864-1060 is the phone number to join us here today on the program. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream, which we are up on YouTube longer than we were yesterday. So I believe the technical issues that plagued us yesterday are behind us.
We're back.
We are back. When we come back from this break, yesterday we looked at the offense. Today, let's take a peek at the defense. Which group on the Cardinals defense is the strongest heading into 2025? My answer might shock you. It's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.com.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, but our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
The summertime savings are heating up at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive a 2.99% APR for up to 60 months on a brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. Or check out a brand new 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage for just $15,995.
Go to ScottsdaleMitsubishi.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes. The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back in. Thursday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. We got Chris Schubert, producer Evans behind the glass. 10 minutes from now, buy or sell to close up hour number 1 of the program. I have no idea what producer Evan has up his sleeve for buy or sell to close out the Thursday, hour number 1 on the Thursday edition of the show. We touched on this yesterday. We did the offensive side of the ball. We went through the positions and said, hey, which is the strongest group heading into 2025? And we had what I thought was a nice, healthy debate between running back and tight end and how those two groups really stand out amongst the crowd as the position groups that are the strongest. The depth is great there. The overall top talent is great there. So that was yesterday. And if you missed that, you can go into the podcast feed, check out the lunch break wherever you get your podcast. You can catch up and hear our thoughts there. But today, we'll flip it. Other side of the ball, the defense. And this is a group that, unlike yesterday with the offense, this group's different. This group's got a lot of new. This group's got Walter Nolan. This group's got Will Johnson. This group's got Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson. This group underwent some major reconstruction this offseason. Completely changed this group up. So which group is the strongest on defense heading into 2025? And I said in the tease before the break that my answer may shock you because I'm not picking the edge group that added Josh Sweat. I am not picking the interior offensive line group that has a year 2 jump for Darius Robinson, a year 1 player in Walter Nolan, veterans like Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson. I am not picking that group. I am going with the group that's going to be able to take the ball away from the opposing team, that's going to shut down opposing teams' number one wide receivers. The strength of the Arizona Cardinals defense, the strongest position group going into 2025, is this team's cornerback room. You already had two really solid young corners in Max Melton and Garrett Williams. And then you added perhaps the best overall true corner in the 2025 draft in round 2. And the only reason why he got there is because of an injury. So if he's healthy, I get that player plus Garrett Williams plus Max Melton. I'm going to be able to deploy all three of those guys on the field a lot of the time together, and they are going to be able to shut down Jackson Smith-Njigba and Cooper Kupp up in Seattle. They're going to be able to shut down Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall out in San Francisco. They're going to be able to shut down Puka Nacua out in LA at the Rams. They are going to give you a bona fide answer to, I've got to take away that number one wide receiver. How am I going to do it? Cardinals don't have that problem because they have three guys that I think can be Swiss Army knives and move in and out and match up with a number one wide receiver. I don't know if we understand how important of a weapon tool that is for Jonathan Gannon and this defense. They made huge improvements on the defensive line, much needed improvements on the defensive line. And if that defensive line starts getting a little more pressure on the quarterback, if they are just average, a little above average compared to where they were a year ago, do you know how many more opportunities this secondary is going to have to make plays? How many times do you think last year, if there was just a little more sustained pressure and they forced the quarterback to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker, that there would be some more turnover-worthy plays for this Arizona Cardinals defense? This secondary is ready to make plays. This secondary is ready to flip the field. We worry about Kyler Murray. We worry about this offense putting up enough points. We worry about, are they going to be able to do enough considering they didn't change a whole lot on their offense? You know what's going to help in that regard? Some extra possessions. And you know where those extra possessions are going to come from? Turnovers. Turnovers caused by a secondary that goes out and makes plays. Will Johnson's going to be able to go out there and make plays. Garrett Williams is going to be able to go out there and make plays. Max Melton is going to be able to go out there and make plays. And you support them a little bit because you can be the three best shutdown corners in the game. You cannot cover number one, number two, number three wide receivers for the entirety of a play. Somebody is going to break open. So getting the improvements to the defensive line is going to help force the ball out of the quarterback's hands a little bit quicker. And now this cornerback room, which is deep, which is strong, and added to it with Will Johnson, is going to be able to feast this offseason or this season and create a bunch of turnovers. And I know producer Evan, I can just feel it in my bones, disagrees with me.
Well, I just think you're on the right track, wrong position group. And I'll take the proven stud leader of this defense.
You're going safety.
And I'm going to go safety.
You're going Budda Baker.
And I just think that Budda Baker is the safety blanket that this defense.
I see what you did there.
Oh,
safety blanket. Very good.
That was unintentional.
No. See that? Let me teach you something. You just take credit for things like
Yeah.
that. You take credit for greatness like that. See, again, they don't give these jobs away to anybody. If I would have said that and you would have said, oh, great job, and I knew deep down that I didn't actually mean it, I'm rolling with it. I would have been like, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Safety blanket. I knew what I was doing.
But he is
gotta own it.
The protector of this defense. And when they are playing well, and when they were playing well for a stretch last year, he's the reason.
And they don't, and yes, Budda's a great talking point. This does extend beyond Budda. Jalen Thompson is solid. Their fourth-round pick, Taylor Demerson, is a solid asset for them out there. They've got some
They
nice...
have more depth at the position this year.
Yeah.
I just think that is what was their strongest group last year. They added depth to it. I have no reason to think they'll take a step back. Well, I think other position groups will take a step forward. I can't take them off of one right now, given the body of work they gave me last season.
Yeah, and I picked a group that, listen, I know he didn't have that great of a year in his first year in Arizona, but when you can make Sean Murphy-Bunting your CB4 in your room, you've got a pretty good room.
You feel pretty good about it.
You feel pretty good about the state of your room. And again, this is not to diminish how good Walter Nolan, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, Darius Robinson, that's a good group. That's a deep group. That's a very good group.
That's a group that I like as the 2 group.
Right.
For me, I just think that they've made a lot of improvements. I think Walter Nolan was a guy you and I both liked. Dalvin Tomlinson was a great addition. Calais Campbell, who now is in a position where he doesn't have to play a lot of snaps. He can be impactful in a limited number of snaps in what we think is his farewell tour. They have pieces. I like Bilal Nichols. I like a lot of the guys they have in that room.
Yeah, I would put that number 2 for me behind corner. I love this corner room. I really do. I think it's special. I think it is highlight-worthy plays, creating a bunch of turnovers. I think it's special. And I think with a defensive line and an improved edge group that's going to be able to allow them to be able to make more of those big-time highlight-worthy plays, I think you're going to see how good this group truly is. Again, a defense that there has been a ton of investment in. A ton. Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, all free agents, draft picks added to the defensive line. They have added to this group. Now, I still think the edge leaves a little bit to be desired after Josh Sweat. So that's why I don't have that number 1 or number 2. But I think it's a group that has a really solid floor now with Sweat. They have B.J. Ojulari. They have Baron Browning. They have Zaven Collins. They, I think, have a better floor than they did a year ago. That's what Sweat's presence is going to do. But just not a group that I would take over the interior of the defensive line, where there's just been so many investments, and the corner room.
No, I think that looking at this defense, and it's not a knock on either room, but I think you would say the edge group as well as the linebacker room is the 2 rooms you look at and say, hey, that they're coming up the back end.
But again, both of those groups, maybe not linebacker, but edge improved from where it was a year ago.
100%. And you hope that those can help the safeties and the corners and everything else under the sun. But you would still look at those and say, hey, those are probably our bottom 2 position groups. I mean, last year they had a safety lead the team in tackles. If we're going for a goal this year, and I know Budda Baker doesn't play a traditional form of the way you look at safety.
All over the place.
Don't know if you love having a safety lead your team in tackles at any point, no matter what.
Yeah, I think it depends on how the rest of it. You don't mind it if your team's 10-7, 11-6.
No, obviously not. Yeah.
With the way that the team went last year, you're probably looking at, can I get more tackles from my interior defensive line? Can my linebackers go out there and make some tackles in open space? Yeah, those are the guys that you want to be up there towards the top of your tackle list. But the stat that's going to matter for this team more than anything else is wins and losses. Everything else is really secondary. Wins and losses are what's going to matter to this team. And I think the wins and losses are going to come from a defense that is much improved. It's definitely more layered, meaning you've got good talent on the defensive line. You've got good talent edge. You've got good talent in the secondary. Last year, it felt like the secondary had to carry a huge burden that I don't think they have to carry as much this season. And I think the balance is going to allow both of those groups, your up front guys, your front 7 and your back guys, to be able to play a lot better. When we come back, closing up hour number 1 here of the program, a little buy or sell. Producer Evan has the takes. I'm either buying them or selling them. I guarantee you he is going to throw in some NBA stuff based on what happened last night between Indiana and New York. We have not touched on it at all here through the first 3 segments of the program. I have this feeling that Pacers-Knicks is going to be a topic of conversation. You'll have to come back to see if I'm right. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Hey listeners, it's Vince Delisio from the Varsity Sports Show. We are back this week for our annual summer kickoff, where we feature one guest the entire show. Excited to be joined in studio by NBA great Tom Van Arsdale. Join us as we talk about the Suns, his career, and original son, his brother, Dick Van Arsdale. You'll also meet our new summer intern team. It's the Varsity Sports Show Summer Kickoff, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona.
like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
The Memorial Day Mega Sale is on at Little Dealer Little Prices. Take off your summer adventure with a new Forest River Westbrook from $13,995, featuring better quality, better features, and unbeatable value. Veterans, active duty military, and first responders receive a free candy package with purchase as our way of saying thank you. Enjoy zero markups on freight and prep fees and shop with confidence thanks to fast, easy financing. These deals won't last. Visit littledealer.com today. Discount valid on in-stock RVs. Camping package for eligible buyers. Do not combine mobile with other offers. See dealer for details. Ends May 31st, 2025.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you, closing up hour number one of the program. 10 minutes from now, we'll open hour number two of the program. Have part of the Suns' offseason plans leaked already. That's how we'll open hour number two of the program. But right now, it is buy or sell. Our producer, Evan, has the topics. I have the reactions or to the buy or sell to the takes that he has. So, producer Evan, take it away, my friend.
All right, well, I'll start with a little question here. Do you want me to start? You brought up Knicks Pacers last night. You want me to start with that? Sure. I typically start local.
Nah, you know what? Since I teased it on the other side, let's start with the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Then if you listen real close, you can just hear Knicks fans still screaming about it.
Last night's Knicks loss is one of the worst playoff losses in recent memory.
It's not just recent memory. It's one of the worst playoff losses in the history of the sport. I've got a couple of statistics here. I came prepared for the show today. This is from Josh Dubow over at the AP. The Knicks led by 14 with 2:45 to play in the fourth quarter. Teams leading playoff games by 14-plus points in the final 2 minutes and 45 seconds of the fourth quarter. Before last night, 994-0. You think that's bad? How about this one? Teams that trailed by 9-plus points in the final minute of the fourth quarter or OT of a playoff game were 0-1,414 since 1998 before the Pacers did what they did last night. That was from Rich Cimini, who covers the Jets in New York, providing a little context to what we saw. That is historic, what happened to the New York Knicks last night.
It was bad.
I don't mean to be this guy. You don't get up from losses like that. You don't. You need to win 4 times in a series. After what happened last night, the Knicks now need to win 5 because they won last night's game but gave it away, and they still need 4 wins in order to make it to the NBA
And you
Finals.
lose that at home just to make it worse.
You cannot lose that game. Cannot happen. Shout out to Indiana for the way that they played in the final 3 minutes of that game, finding their defense, just getting absurdly hot from behind the three-point line. Halliburton hitting them with the choke, the Reggie Miller choke.
Yeah, we
sign.
went over that this morning.
They
lost that series that Reggie Miller hit it in.
I gave you some information.
I'm taking the Knicks now.
You did not know this. You did not know that when Reggie Miller threw up the choke sign, the Pacers lost that series. You didn't know that.
Yeah, and now I think that'll happen again. You can't do that. If you know that they lost that series to the same team, You can't do that.
With Reggie Miller in the building
You
last
can't do
night
that.
on the
You can't
call.
do it.
It was,
It's horrible. He blew the series for the Pacers. It's a shame.
He thought he hit the three. He had his toe on the line, a la Kevin Durant when he was with Brooklyn.
That was even the funnier thing is that it wasn't a 3.
No, it was a 2. It just ended to overtime.
It was a premature.
It was a premature celebration. Yes, I mean you celebrate. You tied the game. You made a big comeback, but that celebration was for a team that thought they stole a game. They then had to actually do it in overtime. But brutal from the Knicks. Brutal. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. They've got the guys on the team that can get up from this. I just don't know if they will.
Yeah,
I just don't know if they will. That's one of the worst losses in the history of the NBA in the playoffs last night.
If there's a team that I would say could take that on the chin and kind of move on, it does feel like it would be the Knicks, but who knows?
I would rather it be the Golden State Warriors. I would rather it be the Boston Celtics, like teams that I know have been there, done that.
The Celtics took a punch and never got up.
You would have said that before the 2 20-point blown leads, right? But what I'm saying is your default is if a team's going to do this, it's a team that's been there, done that. They've been through the grind of a postseason. They've held up a championship. They know what it's going to take. I don't know if I'd pick the Knicks, who for the first time in decades is in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. Now we'll go local. There's more pressure on Drew Petzing this year than there actually is on Jonathan Gannon.
There is way more pressure on Drew Petzing than there is Jonathan Gannon. I think Petzing got some looks as a head coaching candidate this offseason. I think a big year from him not only will help the Cardinals and help their results, but it'll help him personally if he has dreams of being a head coach in the National Football League. Because if he turns this offense around, if he has Kyler Murray putting up some big numbers and they're good enough to make the playoffs, you betcha he's going to be on team short list for a head coaching circle or head coaching carousel next offseason. Whereas if they struggle, I don't think Gannon's going anywhere, but they may force them to make some changes with the coordinators, especially if the offense struggles once again. So yes, I will buy this. More pressure on Petzing than Gannon going into next season.
I'd imagine if they have the same year offensively, they'll make changes. So yes. I agree. Justin Martinez, we could see him back this weekend, but we will not see him throw 3 games in a row for the rest of the season. No matter the situation.
I'm buying this. I do think there is a world where when we get to August or September, if they're in a playoff race or if they have a playoff spot locked up or they're in a battle, that you may want to start getting him ready for that because it will be asked of him in the postseason, working, day after day after day, working back-to-back days, working 3 days in 4 evenings, like just things like that you don't normally do during the regular season. But they are going to take this very carefully right now. I think back-to-back days are probably off the table for at least the first couple of weeks when he comes back. But he got it up to 101, looked good, pitched a scoreless inning. I know he had some command issues, but pitched a scoreless inning, didn't have really any serious trouble. So I will buy that this is what they will do with him. Yes.
Cardinals defense will finish top 5 in takeaways next year.
Wow, you're just really hopping on board my take earlier about the Cardinals in the corner room. Top 5 in takeaways. I'd like to know who was top 5 in takeaways last year to see if I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth because I want to buy this take really badly. I really believe in this group. I think they're going to be better than they were a year ago, so that's going to be really helpful. I'm looking at team takeaways. The Bills had 24 turnovers as a team defensively, 16 for the Packers. The Cardinals, where were they last year? In total takeaways, I'm just looking real quick here. Total takeaways for the Cardinals last year, they had 17. I'll sell. They're going to be better. I don't know if they'll be top 5. They'll sell.
It'll be interesting to see.
They'll be better. I don't know if they'll be top 5. When we come back, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Looking at some potential leaked plans for the Suns this offseason. That's next on the lunch break right here, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. Arizona children enter the foster system every day. If you're a parent, a coach, a teacher, or just someone who cares about young people, then you may be in a position to help. Become a foster parent not only creates a positive ripple effect in a child's life, it can improve our entire community. That's the foster effect. To learn more, go to azdcs.gov/foster effect. That's azdcs.gov/foster effect. This message is brought to you by the Arizona Department of Child Safety.
Stevie Nicks. One special night, October 7th, PHX Arena.
Would you love to love her? I will.
Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Stevie Nicks live at PHX Arena.
With Memorial Day deals all month long, we're turning up the heat at Midway Chevrolet. Right now, get behind the wheel of a 2025 Chevy Colorado WT for just $31,938. That's right, $31,938. Featuring a 310 horsepower Turbo Max engine and advanced tech, this truck is built to handle your toughest jobs. There are no gimmicks, just great Memorial Day deals all month long. Head to Midway Chevrolet at I-17 and Bell Road, or shop anytime at MidwayChevy.com. Together, let's drive to Midway Chevrolet. Absolutely unbeatable. One available. VIN S11 76112, MSRP $34,590. Dealer discount $26.52. Sale price $31,938. Plus tax, title, license, customer requested ads, and $5.99 doc fee. See dealer for details. Expires 6/2/25.
This is Desert Diamond Casino, where the tables are hot to the touch and there are jackpot-winning smiles all around. The spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, slots spinning winners every day, and an atmosphere sparkling with excitement. So get your shine on, light up the room, show us what it's all about. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thona Automation.
Bet with your head, not over it. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Memorial Day mega sale is on at Little Dealer, Little Prices. Get a new Forest River Westbrook from $13,995. Plus, veterans, military, and first responders receive a free camping package with purchase. Shop now at littledealer.com. Discount valid on in-stock RVs camping package for eligible buyers. Not combinable with other offers. See dealer for details. Ends May 31st, 2025.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix. And KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour, the Thursday edition of the lunch break. Chris Schubert back here with you. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Thursday. We've got one more hour here for you. Producer Evan is behind the glass. He will always take your phone calls, 480-864-1060. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. The Phoenix Suns and their offseason plans, a hot button topic. A lot to get done. A lot to do, a roster that should, in theory, look different than the roster we saw for a majority of the season last year. Producer Evan, I'm very excited because you were not here for most, if not all, of the daily breakdowns of Phoenix Suns basketball last year.
No, I came in until the end of the season.
You came to this program, became the producer of this show right around the time where Coach Bud was out the door, the season was coming to an end. There were some rants. There was some anger. There was a lot during the season about that basketball team. They drove us all.
They were not a fun watch.
Crazy. No, the opposite of a fun watch. It wasn't boring. It was just ugly.
It's painful.
It was painful.
It was painful.
It was painful. And we are getting some early rumors on what this team may try to do this offseason in an attempt to make things not painful, to make things more fun. And I will tell you, the early returns tell me this team, they might be getting this right. They may be thinking about this in the right way. We talked about Jake Fisher and his reporting around the Suns in hour number 1 of the program. But one of the other things he talked about is where Brian Gregory might go with his off-season plans. And one of the things that Brian Gregory apparently has on his to-do list is to get a starting level center. Fisher said that whatever they do, keeping Kevin Durant, trading Kevin Durant, they still want to, quote, further upgrade on the move they made during the season to deal away Yusuf Nurkic and replace him with Nick Richards via Charlotte, end quote. So you can put on the list
off-season plans for the Phoenix Suns, and we can put on that list, at least according to this reporting, getting a starting caliber center. Now, there are different branches off of this tree, right? Because you traded for Nick Richards. So what does this mean for his role? What does it mean for Oso Ighodaro if you're getting a starting caliber center? Those are all things I think we talk about when we see who they bring in. I just want to talk about this idea being out there. I want to talk about it being on the list because I was incredibly critical of the hire. Incredibly critical of the hire. I mean, I think we play this every day.
The alignment.
Every day we talk about Brian Gregory and
the alignment.
Make jokes about the alignment. It was not a great first press conference. It was a bad first impression for all of us. But if you were with us on the day,
the alignment,
that happened and we reacted to it and we talked about it, what did I say on that day? That despite the awkwardness of the press conference, despite it looking very clearly like somebody who had no idea what they were doing sitting in that chair being the GM, that we were rooting for Brian Gregory and we would judge him based on how he attacked the offseason, who he brought in as a head coach, what they got back in a potential Kevin Durant trade, what moves they made this offseason. We were going to judge Brian Gregory off of the actions because we said you didn't need to win the press conference, although
the alignment
kind of lost the press conference with the alignment and talking a lot about alignment and just really kind of not really answering the questions that we wanted to hear answered. Just kept coming back to
the alignment.
And the nepotism of it all, of a Michigan State guy who has connections with Ishbia getting the role, didn't really do anything to set our fears aside. But the head coaching hire and the way that's progressing, entering round 2 and the names that are on that list and this report tell me Brian Gregory might be getting this right. Brian Gregory might be on the right path here. That short list, the names that are on it, this news about going out and getting a starting caliber center, I'm more confident in Brian Gregory than I was coming out of that press conference. I have grown more confident as this process has played out about the job that Brian Gregory could potentially do. Why do I say that after news that they want to get a starting caliber center? Because what do we think this Suns team needs next season? They need more grit. They need more intensity. They need a higher effort level. Those are all of the characteristics we want to see from this team. And you know where most of the time that can emanate from? Better defensive effort, intensity, physicality, diving for loose balls, not getting pushed around. You know where that can come from? A really strong anchor in the center. Those plays that get the crowd off their feet, the big block that sends the ball into the third row, the huge block where you knock it off the glass, or you're physical and you stop a Tyrese Halliburton or a Jalen Brunson going to the rim to try to get 2 free easy points. You got somebody who's going to go up there, throw his body in the way, and make a play. That emanates from the center position. And you need the physicality, you need the intensity, you need that grit across the board. But a lot of the time, those plays that get a crowd into it, those plays that build the momentum, you can feel the energy level change, those plays come from having a true physical rim protecting center. A guy that's going to take no nonsense. A guy that is going to go toe to toe with whoever wants to enter the paint and try to score. And so we want this team to embody the things that Brian Gregory talked about, the things that Matt Ishbia talked about. And we have been skeptical of whether or not they're going to actually achieve those goals. If putting a starting caliber center is on their to-do list, I think their heads are in the right place. I think they are looking at this the right way. They understand that in order to change the culture, in order to change the fans' feeling about this team, you need players that they believe in. You need players that they see go on the floor and they know the effort level that they're going to get. And having that center, it branches out from there because that center gets the huge block, knocks it off the glass, grabs the big rebound, gets the ball out in transition, and that energy, the ability to go up and down the court, having those guys that are engaged, that are ready to be involved on both ends of the floor. Now you're out with a fast break play, and you've got the crowd erupting when you slam down a dunk on the other end. Those plays happen when you have guys that are engaged, when you have guys that bring that intensity, that bring that energy level, that bring that effort, that grit, that drive, that determination on both ends of the floor. And I think Nick Richards does that. But there were times last year where Nick Richards kind of went missing out there and didn't always provide that. So Richards, as part of a center group, as the backup to a starting caliber center that provides all of those things that we just listed, yeah, I can get on board with this. And if we're judging Brian Gregory based on the actions, so far the actions are leading me into a different place. I was so out on this hire. I thought this was just a disaster waiting to happen. But even I can admit, since the press conference, the head coaching stuff, this report, the reporting about the direction of this team from a GM perspective, a roster building perspective, paints a story of somebody who might be up for the challenge of this job. And I did not think I was going to say that 3 weeks ago. I did not think I was going to say that after listening to that press conference. And I may be wrong. They may hire one of the Michigan State guys to be the head coach. They may choose to not trade Kevin Durant. The guys they get in the draft and free agency, I may not think fit this new culture that they told us they're trying to build. But I like a lot of the names on that head coaching list. I like that on the to-do list is we got to get somebody that's a starting caliber center. We need somebody who's physical. We need somebody who's going to protect the rim because guess what? That's where those energy plays start from. They can start from that guy patrolling the center of the paint and just looking at everybody and saying, bring it on. The rest of your team builds out from there. There is a world where we go from this,
the alignment,
to actually liking the job that Brian Gregory has done. Nick Richards was an upgrade from Yusuf Nurkic. He was a young player who was inconsistent at times, but was a better fit for this team. Getting somebody else that is a starting level center, I think would check a major, major box for the culture that this team is trying to overhaul. Like I said, apprehensive is the word that I would use to describe my feelings toward Brian Gregory as the GM. Did not like the hire, did not like the press conference, was not a message that he sold me on. I believe we used a quote, a motivational quote of let your actions speak for you. You don't have to tell us what you're doing. Let your actions speak for you. Do your work in quiet. Don't boast about your work. Just get to work and be quiet and let your work stand as a placeholder for your words. You don't see Brian Gregory talking about the head coaching search. We know the names that are on the list. We like the names that are on the list. We like this report of getting a starting caliber center because I think it shows that this team is going to go about this the right way to identify and get those players that are going to give them that extra level. Brian Gregory talked about, I thought it was one of his best answers, talking about what this team is supposed to embody. That he wants when people go and they watch Phoenix Suns basketball, that they talk about the second and third effort, that they talk about the diving for the loose balls, that they talk about just the energy that they played with, that even if they lose, you're proud of the effort that you saw because you believed when you walked out of PHX Arena that the Suns gave it their all that night. And part of giving it your all is having a rim-protecting center that goes out there and dominates and brings that physicality because that's where everything else emanates from. So I like this. I am the first person. We said that we were rooting for Brian Gregory, and so far, so good. I like what I've seen. Fingers crossed that this can continue to be just more pieces of positive news when it comes to the roster building of the Phoenix Suns. When we come back, does Kyler Murray need to be a top 10 quarterback next season if the Suns are going to make the playoffs? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Feeling uneasy about your financial future? You need a partner that helps lighten the load. Welcome to Global Credit Union. It means early payday, your paycheck up to 3 days early with direct deposit, accounts with no NSF fees, and a mobile app with tools to help you manage your family budget. At Global, we take member care seriously with branches near you and a 24/7 US-based call center staffed by real people. Join us at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025, live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
Summer's almost here, and that means swimsuits, pool parties, and walks on the beach. For the confidence to look your very best, come to Red Mountain Weight Loss. At Red Mountain, our expert doctors will help maximize your results from brand name medications like Wegovy and Zepbound. Another option is our signature medication, RM3. RM3 helps you lose up to 20 pounds a month while melting inches from your belly, hips, and thighs. This patented medication is available only by prescription, and you can only get it at Red Mountain Weight Loss. For over 30 years, Red Mountain has been the trusted leader in medical weight loss. Our doctors deliver safe, effective solutions tailored to your needs. Red Mountain has helped over 1 million patients lose weight safely, and they can help you too. Lose weight and look great just in time for summer at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Real doctors, real results.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals was supposed to be a Knicks statement. Instead, it became one of the most improbable collapses in NBA playoff history. Leading by 14 with 2:45 to go, the Knicks were on the verge of taking a 1-0 series lead. Historically, teams in that position were 994-0. But the Pacers, led by Tyrese Halliburton and Aaron Nesmith, had other plans. Nesmith erupted for 22 of his 30 in the fourth quarter, including 6 3-pointers in the final 5 minutes. Halliburton went for 31 and 11 assists, including a game-tying jumper at the buzzer that forced overtime. The Knicks have been comeback specialists throughout the playoffs, but this loss, a gut punch. Game 1 doesn't decide a series, but how New York responds in Game 2 will reveal their true resilience. The Indiana Pacers have thrown the first punch. Now it's up to the New York Knicks to counter. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. King's Hawaiian welcomes you to summer and reminds you sliders are the perfect meal for the summer grilling season. King's Hawaiian rolls and slider buns, so versatile, perfect for whatever you're thinking of grilling up. How about chicken, beef, pork, fish, whatever you're thinking of putting on the grill, King's Hawaiian can turn those into delicious sliders and make you the hero of the backyard. So get ready for summer grilling season. Go to the bakery or deli section of your local grocery store and pick up those irresistible King's Hawaiian rolls and slider buns and enjoy.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KTUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day.
From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Producer Evan behind the glass, Chris Schubert with you. Hour number 2 of the program. 10 minutes from now, we'll discuss the 2 major bats that right now are struggling for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But right now, Kyler Murray. Feels like we can't go a couple of days without discussing the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals and what he means to the success of this squad in 2025. Producer Evan, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you were ranking quarterbacks going into the 2025 season, the personal producer Evan list of quarterbacks going into 2025.
Of course, I've always considered myself a little bit of a quarterback guru.
Yeah, so that's why we turn to you in these spots.
Of course.
Kyler Murray would be in what range on your list?
Somewhere from 14 to 18.
So QB 14 to QB 18.
I think that might be a tad high, too. I think it could be 16 to 20.
Okay.
I'll give you 14 to 20.
14 to 20. That's a big range, but okay. You want it. Kyler Murray, in your mind, somewhere in the range of, if you actually sat down and did the list, QB 14 to QB 20. That's how you view him going into the 2025 season. Yes?
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus wrote a story ranking all 32 starters ahead of the 2025 season, and they put them into buckets. They had their elite buckets. Patrick Mahomes was 1, Joe Burrow 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4. Those are the 4 guys in the elite tier. Then the second tier was high-end starters. Jalen Hurts at 5, Jaden Daniels at 6, Matthew Stafford at 7, Justin Herbert at 8. Then they had tier 3A, solid starters who have flashed high-end play. Jared Goff 9, Geno Smith 10, Brock Purdy 11. And they had tier 3B, solid starters, but they need more help. Jordan Love was 12, Baker Mayfield was 13, CJ Stroud was 14, and Kyler Murray of your Arizona Cardinals sat at 15th on this list. If Kyler Murray plays exactly to where he is on this PFF list, or if he plays exactly to the range of outcomes that producer Evan said, QB 14 to QB 20, I ask all of you, is that going to be quarterback play? Statistically, the eye test results, is that going to be quarterback play that matches up with a team that makes the playoffs? Can the Arizona Cardinals afford Kyler Murray to be quarterback 15? Or in producer Evan's world, QB 14 to QB 20? Can they afford him to be on that spot of the list and make the playoffs? Because I would argue no. I would argue that they need him to be a top 10 quarterback at best. Because let's look at this list that PFF had. Let's see how far down the list we have to get before we find the first quarterback that didn't make the playoffs last year. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. They made the playoffs last year. Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but you expect them to be a perennial playoff team. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, made the playoffs. Josh Allen, the Bills, made the playoffs. Did the Eagles make the playoffs? Jalen Hurts, he was in there, right? He participated.
Oh, gosh.
I can't remember.
I know they picked late in the draft. I can't remember.
Remember, they traded up a spot. They didn't like their spot. They moved up one spot.
But that's what happens when you win a Super Bowl.
Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders, made the playoffs. Matt Stafford, Los Angeles Rams, made the playoffs. Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers, made the playoffs. Jared Goff, Lions, made the playoffs. First 9 quarterbacks on this list made the playoffs. They have Kyler Murray at 15. Quarterbacks directly in front of him, CJ Stroud, made the playoffs last year. Baker Mayfield made the playoffs last year. Jordan Love made the playoffs last year. Geno Smith is at 10. Brock Purdy is at 11. Those guys didn't make the playoffs last year. But overall, more often than not, if you get QB 15 play, you're not going to be a playoff team. Because how many quarterbacks behind Kyler Murray made the playoffs last year? Bo Nix in Denver. They have
J.J. McCarthy for Minnesota. Minnesota made the playoffs last year. How many teams make the playoffs without top 10, top 12 quarterback play? Look at the playoff teams from a year ago. Buffalo in the AFC East. The Ravens. The Chiefs. The Chargers. All teams that have great quarterbacks. In the NFC side of things, Hurts, Daniels, Goff, Love, Darnold, now McCarthy, Baker, Stafford. Where does Kyler stack up against those quarterbacks? He doesn't. Sure. Could you potentially sneak in if he's quarterback 13 or quarterback 14? Sure. Bo Nix did in Denver. Sure. The Pittsburgh Steelers got into the playoffs.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Here. Bo Nix or Kyler Murray?
Talent-wise, I would take Kyler Murray.
Next year?
I would take Kyler Murray.
Murray. Geno Smith or Kyler Murray?
I would take Kyler Murray.
Tua Tagovailoa or Kyler Murray?
I would take. What is the health situation of Tua?
Let's say a healthy Tua.
Tua.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence or Kyler Murray?
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. So you have, on that, to me, puts Murray at 16.
Just looking at the playoff teams from a year ago. Buffalo made the playoffs, right? Good quarterback. Kansas City made the playoffs. Good quarterback. Baltimore, good quarterback. Houston, good quarterback. Chargers, good quarterback. Pittsburgh, that's the first team in the AFC where you go, they didn't really have great quarterback play. Good coaching, good defense. They do a lot of smoke and mirrors. Mike Tomlin's not allowed, based on the NFL rules, to have a below 500 record, so they're always going to be in there. Okay. Pittsburgh gets in at 10-7. Do you really want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is that the franchise that you want to emulate right now? I know the history. I know all the championships. But do you really want to be a team that maxes out at about 10 wins and at least in the last 6 seasons hasn't won a playoff game? Is that really the model you want to follow?
Well, maybe not for football, but other teams in town have invoked that name.
Sure.
When saying
again, winning culture, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
If the Cardinals want to break through, and they want to be a playoff team, they need to be more like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Those teams have great quarterbacks. The Broncos made the playoffs as the 7 seed. Do you really want to be the Broncos? What's their ceiling?
I don't know. This year they're pretty good. That defense is pretty good.
Sure.
Now, the question isn't defense, but the
question is the quarterback.
Broncos are better than people expect. But that defense is really
good. The question is the quarterback. Nobody wonders if the Baltimore Ravens are going to make the playoffs next year. Why? Because they have a franchise quarterback. The question is, Denver's good, but are they going to get good quarterback play? Yeah, Pittsburgh's good, but are they going to get good quarterback play? So you might be able to sneak in as a wild card team in the NFC if Kyler Murray is outside of the top 10. If he's QB 11 through 15. You might be able to be Denver. You might be able to be Pittsburgh. You might be able to be Tampa or Minnesota now with J.J. McCarthy. You might be able to be those teams. But if you want to be Detroit, if you want to be Philadelphia, if you want to be Kansas City or Buffalo or the top upper echelon teams that break through and win a Super Bowl, you betcha Kyler Murray has to play like a top 10 quarterback.
Looking at the guys on the quarterback list from 10 to wherever Murray sits. But I think a lot of people would have these names over him: Goff, Mayfield, Purdy, Prescott. Those sit in the 10 to 14 range, wherever you want to put them.
Give me those names again.
Goff, Purdy, Mayfield, Prescott.
Goff, Purdy,
Lawrence, Tua.
Just those first 4.
Yep.
Goff, Mayfield, Purdy, Prescott. What is the overwhelming year-to-year conversation in Dallas? Do we have a quarterback that can win a big game and win us a Super Bowl? What is the overwhelming conversation in Detroit? Do we have enough? Is Goff really the right guy? We've got a great roster. We got banged up, but what happened in the playoffs last year? Yeah. Mayfield, what is his ceiling? Tampa's kind of feel like they max out every year. They win double-digit games. They win a soft division. But when they have to then play Philadelphia or play Detroit or play these good teams in the playoffs.
Philadelphia, they seem to beat every year.
But you know what I mean. When they go up against the upper echelon teams in the NFC, they seem to be a step behind. Why? Because of the quarterback play. Purdy got to a Super Bowl. Doesn't have a ring to show for it, though. Questions about whether or not he can win. All of those quarterbacks that you named, the tier where Kyler sits right now, are all quarterbacks where their fan bases, their radio hosts, their podcasters, their media members wonder aloud, do they have a quarterback that can win them the Super Bowl? That's not the group you want to be in. Now, yes.
I'm throwing Herbert in that group too, side note. But
Herbert, way more talented than those
way
guys.
Way more, but
yes,
same conversation.
Fair enough. And he'll be in there if another year passes and they don't have a signature moment, right? Maybe they upset the Bills on the road or upset the Chiefs on the road. If they don't have a signature moment like that, then yeah, you're going to be resigned to the same conversation as Dak, as Goff, as Purdy, as all those guys. You betcha. But, and I know, you got to walk, jog, run, make the playoffs, and then move on. But I ask you this. Look at the teams that made the playoffs last year and look at the quarterback play that they got. Kyler Murray has to be in that group, and I don't know if he can be. If he's quarterback 15 or worse, they are not going to be a playoff team. I don't care how good their defense is. I don't care how good their running game is. I don't think they've made enough improvements to be a top 5 defense in the league. They're a better defense. They're not an elite defense. You want to cover up the flaws of your franchise quarterback? You want to cover up the flaws that your offense may have? You need to have an elite defense. I do not think this defense is elite. Perhaps they will prove me wrong, but as we sit here right now, I do not think this defense is an elite, got to be talked about in a top 5 defense conversation.
No, they're not going to be. To me, Denver is a playoff team next year, not because of the quarterback, because of the defense. I don't put the Cardinals in that same conversation. You don't put them in the conversation of the Steelers are going to win games with smoke and mirrors and they're going to play good defense. You don't put them in that conversation. But where do you line up in the NFC against quarterbacks? That's the conversation. And we can look at the league and the AFC, and the quarterback play is better in the AFC. It just 100%. Is what it is. So you have this opportunity, if you're Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, to be an upper echelon quarterback in the NFC. You can't get beat out by teams like the Vikings. We're going to have J.J. McCarthy make a few of his first starts. There's going to be several teams, Jordan Love, the conversation in Green Bay and what that team looks like. Detroit, 2 of those teams are not going to win that division. You have to be in that conversation with those quarterbacks, with those teams.
And I think you are only in those conversations if Kyler Murray plays like a top 10 quarterback. If he plays more towards his ceiling than he does his floor. I think if he plays more towards his floor, we're not having a playoff conversation with this team. We're just not.
They're 7-9 or 7-10.
7-10, please. We play 17 games now, please. 7-10. He needs to be a top 10 quarterback if they are going to make the postseason. Yeah. Because if you look at that list where he sits and you look at the quarterbacks in front of him and you look at the quarterbacks that made the playoffs last year, he can't play the way that he played last year. If he was around a middle-of-the-road quarterback last year and it wasn't good enough. They weren't able to win enough games at the tail end of the season. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Eric over there says, Bo Nix is good. Took Denver to the playoffs his rookie year. I can create a list. We won't. We've had a bunch of lists on the program this week. I could do a list of rookie quarterbacks who early on in their career had a brief playoff run and then did nothing the rest of their career.
Mark Sanchez.
You didn't need to go there, but sure.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't
no,
need,
I did. But
you didn't need to do that, but fair enough.
But no, similar. Like in my head, similar. And Mark went to back-to-back AFC title games.
He went to back-to-back AFC title games. Yes, he did. You can go up and down the board. Just pick a franchise. You can look at a quarterback that had a brief little bit of success, but it didn't have staying power. If Bo Nix can show that he has staying power, and Bo Nix can be the reason why Denver wins games, then yeah, he is good and we can take him more seriously. I'm not ready to make that proclamation after just 1 year. When we come back, they carried the offense at the beginning of the season. Now, they're kind of going through it. That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends.
celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025.
You ready?
Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, September 6th, with special guest Gene Dawson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit lincolnpark.com.
The savings are heating up now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale.
Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Kia Sportage for just $199 a month for 24 months with $29.99 due at signing.
That's right, a brand new Kia for under $200 a month.
Go to markkia.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember? Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for full details. $0 security deposit. Payment plus tax title license $998 doc fee. Offer expires June 2nd, 2025.
Hear that? That's the sound of a loaded cash explosion. It happens every time someone wins loaded cash explosion scratchers from the Arizona lottery. Oh, it's happening again. Since tickets are loaded with $1,000 prizes with explosive top prizes of $2.5 million. Plus, a second chance to win $1 million in the Players Club. Head to an Arizona lottery retailer and play loaded cash explosion scratchers today.
The savings are heating up at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-50 Hybrid for just $399 a month plus tax for 36 months with just $29.99 down.
And we still have 1.9% financing on some of our most popular models like the 2025 Mazda CX-50. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember? Mark Mazda. Mark Mazda. On approved credit plus $998.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh, my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break. We've got the leftovers coming up in about 10 minutes from now. The Diamondbacks offense, the subject of our conversation right now. 1 run last night, 3 runs the night before. I know they scored 9 runs in the first game of this series against the Dodgers, but it does feel like overall this offense is hit or miss right now. And there are 2 players in particular that when the season started were carrying the workload. Corbin Carroll was great in a leadoff spot, but this team was down Ketel Marte, and the guys that were really swinging a great bat to start the season were Josh Naylor and Pavin Smith. And these are the guys that you ran out there every single day. There's your starting first baseman in Josh Naylor, and there's your starting DH in Pavin Smith. You're going to face mostly righties, so those are the guys that you were going to run out there every day. But over the last 7 games, over the last 15 games, it feels like it is a struggle
for Naylor in particular, but producer Evan also pulled Pavin Smith's numbers because he was intrigued by Pavin. Give me Josh Naylor's numbers over the last 15 games because I think this tells a very interesting story.
Yeah, so he's hitting 246.
Can we stop right there? Hitting 246. If you look at Naylor in his career, yes, he's had years where he hits 300. I believe it was 2 years ago. He hit 17 home runs and hit like 303 or something like that. Last year, hit 30-plus home runs, but had an average more in the 250s, if I'm remembering his baseball reference page accordingly.
Yeah, very close. So in 2023, he hit 308 with 17. And then in 2024, hit the 31, but with a 243 average.
So the 243 average is okay if you're getting the home runs to go with it. He's hit 1 home run over his last 15 games. It's a powered outage for Josh Naylor.
That's the more glaring number, is the 1 home run in 15 games. You're only hitting 246 with a 641 OPS.
You're not getting those extra base hits. You're not hitting the long ball. And if you're not going to hit for a high average, we'd like to see you get the power. You have 2 years. The last 2 years we just talked about, a year where his average dipped a little bit, but had a power surge. In a year where his power was fine, 17 home runs, basically a 20 home run season, but hit for more of an average. That's fine. You have to pick one of those. What you can't do is not have the power and also not have the average. And here's where I think things might turn a little bit for Josh Naylor. Saw a stat this morning. Josh Naylor is second in baseball in ground balls hit 100 miles an hour or more. He has 28 of them so far this season. So what does that tell you? Josh Naylor is hitting the ball really, really hard. He's just not getting it in the air. Because if he's hitting the ball 100 plus miles an hour and he starts lifting that ball and he stops just pounding it into the ground, that ball's going to start to take off. And you are going to get those home run numbers that we want to see. But the story is very similar for Pavin Smith. A super hot start to the season was awesome. We had conversations on this show. Man, they got rid of Christian Walker. They got rid of Jock Peterson. Naylor and Smith have been awesome. They look like geniuses for making those moves. They look like geniuses for letting those guys walk. And I still think overall they made the right decisions there. These guys are just going through it right now because Pavin, it's a similar story in the power, right? It's 1 home run over his last 15 games or so.
Yeah, he's got no homers in
0
the last
home runs.
15. Only 3 in the last 30, but 255 average during that time and a 646 OPS, so slightly higher, but not by much.
This team has Corbin Carroll at the top of the lineup. We know what he's doing. They've got Ketel Marte, who has really started to heat up since coming back from the injured list. He's having a really nice couple of games here. Geraldo Perdomo is still hitting over 300. So they have some guys that are contributing. You got Smith, who's kind of struggling. You have Naylor, who's struggling. Your center fielder, Alec Thomas, is barely hitting 200. You start to potentially have a couple of temporary holes in your lineup. I don't think they're permanent. I think Naylor will come out of this at some point. I think Smith will come out of this at some point. You have some holes in your lineup right now that make it really hard for you to string together hits and to string together offensive performances like we saw the other night when you score 9 runs. So offense is a little bit of a premium right now for this team. You asked in the morning meeting, do we need to start discussing maybe Tim Towle playing center field more regularly because he is a better bat? And at some point as a team, you can prioritize defense. You can prioritize run prevention, right? That's a very important skill to have. But you also have to create runs. And you have to dance this dance very delicately. Because if you go all in on run prevention and you don't create any runs, then it doesn't matter that you're not preventing runs. You can still find ways to lose games. You have to be able to create runs. So there's a dance. There's a balance here that the Diamondbacks are going to need to find. And at some point, you are going to have to consider, you know what, the defense is worse with Tim Towle. Yeah, it's right on right with Tim Towle, but his bat plays better. His bat gives me a better chance. And so I expect Naylor to hit better. I expect Smith to hit better. But it is, I've been watching a lot of Josh's at-bats, and my gauge on this, I was watching the game last night. My fiance walks into the room. She's a huge baseball fan. She was doing some stuff around the house, and she walked in, and she saw Naylor up. And she made a comment to me. And her comment was, oh, I know how this is going to go. Because every time she's walked in when Naylor's been up, she's like, he's just going to hit a ground ball to the second baseman. She said that. I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, I'm taking my notes. She walks in and goes, oh, I know how this is going to go. Ground out. And it's kind of been what's happening. and the stat of him hitting a bunch of hard hit balls on the ground tell a story of he's not lifting the ball right now. And once he does that, the home run numbers are going to be up. The doubles numbers are going to be up. He's going to start slugging more. His OPS is going to be good. He's going to start having some home runs. Those RBI opportunities will be there. But right now, it just feels like he's topping the ball. He's hitting the ball into the ground, and the results right now aren't there.
And the other reason I brought up Tawa is Naylor and Smith this year, 0 home runs against left-handed pitching. Naylor hitting just 233 against left-handed pitching. Smith has been just as bad, if not worse, hitting 222, no homers, couple walks, not many extra base hits. These guys have been really heavy on matchups, and lefty-lefty has been a problem.
And this is a team right now that has been dependent very much on the home run. Their 1 run last night, Ketel Marte home run. Their 3 runs the night before. Gabby Moreno home run in the 9th. Corbin Carroll home run with a runner on second base in the 10th inning. Home runs have been the name of the game for this team. So if 2 guys, Smith and Naylor, over the last 15 games have combined to hit 1 home run, and this team has been very home run dependent, it's going to be hard to string together good offensive nights back to back to back. It's part of the reason why they alternated win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They couldn't get hot for an extended period of time with their bats. Hopefully they'll be able to find that in St. Louis. Because if you got guys going through it, somebody else has to step up. Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, Gabby Moreno looks like he's starting to swing a hot bat. And that's great, because then those guys are going to go through it. Then hopefully Pavin Smith and Josh Naylor are there to pick up the pieces, and that's when they get hot. But it is something that is worrisome. Over the last 2 games, all of their runs come via the home run, and home runs are a really important part of what they do. 2 guys in their lineup. They're everyday first baseman, they're everyday DH. The guys that they put out there and they're in those 2 spots almost all the time have 1 home run combined in their last 15 games. When we come back, the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to, we pile them on the plate. Producer Evan has them. We will get to them next. It's the lunch break right here, KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, it's Vince DeLisio from the Varsity Sports Show. We are back this week for our annual summer kickoff, where we feature one guest the entire show. Excited to be joined in studio by NBA great Tom Van Arsdale. Join us as we talk about the Suns, his career, and original son, his brother, Dick Van Arsdale. You'll also meet our new summer intern team. It's the Varsity Sports Show Summer Kickoff, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
This Memorial Day, it's Mania at Santan Ford. Employee pricing for everyone. You pay what we pay. Get $9,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford Super Duties. How about America's best-selling truck, the F-150, on sale for up to $8,700 off MSRP. Employee pricing at Santan Ford means you pay what we pay. Expeditions, Explorers, Broncos are all thousands off MSRP. Shop the madness. Shop the employee pricing in person or online. Santan 202 Freeway in Val Vista and Gilbert, or santanford.com. Going on now. Restrictions may apply. See Santan Ford for details.
I got my first real 6-string.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. Did you know there's over 1,000 pest control companies in Arizona? So why is Moxie the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona? Because at Moxie, we put people first, and we believe in paying it forward. That means kindness every time. It means showing up on time, going the extra mile, and treating your home like it's our own. And by taking a little extra time in our service, we make a few friends along the way. Our field experts are the kind of people you'll feel good having around your spouse, your kids, and your pets. Yes, we've trained them to solve pest problems better, but also to care more, smile more, and earn your trust at every visit. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hey, do me a favor, download the KDUS AM 1060 app. Just while you're listening over there, either there or on KDUS1060.com. If you're registered and logged in while you're listening, you have a chance to listen for 4 tickets to the Arizona Diamondbacks when they take on the Washington Nationals Saturday, May 31st at Chase Field. It's Geraldo Perdomo Bobble Night. Domo's Night at Chase Field, May 31st, courtesy of Chaz Roberts. So we've got your chance to win 4 tickets to that one. And then you got to get there early and beat everybody else out for the Geraldo Perdomo Bobble on May 31st. Or you can get your tickets over at dbacks.com/SGT. The leftovers, all the stories we did not get a chance to touch on throughout the course of the show. Producer Evan has them. Take it away, my friend.
We'll start with some sad news. Yesterday, Jim Irsay passed away, longtime owner of the Colts, very well respected around the league and loved by other owners and players. Sad news.
You saw that in the way a lot of people spoke about Jim Irsay yesterday. Media members, other owners releasing statements. I saw Pat McAfee. I even saw Marvin Harrison Jr. tweet about Jim Irsay. I mean, Dad, Marvin Harrison Sr. played there. An owner who, I believe it was Ian Rappaport who said this yesterday, did things his own way. Jim Irsay was true to himself. He was always Jim Irsay. Didn't matter that he was the owner of the Indianapolis Colts. If he believed in something, he did it. And so a man that I didn't remember this, but it was brought up yesterday, was the first owner to publicly call for Dan Snyder to be removed as the owner of the Washington Commanders.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the first owner to publicly call for it in a statement. And so, yeah, some very sad news yesterday. The owners' meetings were yesterday. They voted on the tush-push stuff, and the reseeding stuff was all brought up yesterday. But, yeah, some very sad news. And our hearts go out to everybody in the Irsay family, the Indianapolis Colts community, everybody in the NFL community. Yeah, some sad news yesterday.
Yeah, and like you said, kind of did it his own way. There was that story about him trying to save a whale a while back.
Jim Irsay was a one of one.
He was one of one.
One of one.
So he will be missed. Staying in football, a little bit more exciting. 100 days till Sun Devil football kicks off as of today, after what was a very exciting year last year. Hoping they can continue it this year.
I have not really started to sink my teeth into this season of Sun Devil football just yet. But boy, are the expectations going to be through the roof for this club.
Oh, yeah. They're actually not the betting favorite to win the conference.
They are not the betting favorite to win the Big 12?
No.
Who is?
I think it was Texas Tech last time I checked. I'll check again right now, but because I was shocked when I saw that.
I saw a story today that based on SP Plus, the ESPN metric, they were like 22nd in the nation. They were a top 25 team. They're going to be ranked high. They've got a quarterback that should be in the Heisman conversation if he plays to his potential. You saw that in the college football playoff. The expectations are high, even though Cam Scadaboo was off to New York playing with the Giants. You've got the coach. You've got the quarterback. You are no longer a team that people are going to take lightly. And I think Kenny's got this team ready to go. I'm very excited. I just don't know. I don't know the state of the rest of the Big 12, the state of the rest of college football. You know, there is going to be the thought of, were they just a one-hit wonder? And they are going to have to prove that wrong. And Sam Levitt's going to have to prove that wrong. And Kenny Dillingham is going to have to prove that wrong. And if you do have a great follow-up season, now you've got the rocket strapped to you. And now you're a team that can really, truly make some noise in college football.
Via FanDuel, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, Arizona State, all at plus 600 to win the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, remember, these betting odds, what do they mean? Where was ASU at the start of last year? They win the Big 12. They go to the college football playoff, right? Speaking of the college football playoff, did you see this?
Next story.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah, the college football playoff announced today that they will go to a straight seeding model. So no longer if you win the conference will you get the bye. Just the best 4 teams will get the bye. Don't know if I love or hate this, to be honest with you. I think I like it.
I don't like the play. Don't like it. Got to use a new drop on the soundboard. I don't like it. It continues to just give the college football playoff committee just
more power,
more influence, more things that they can screw up. Because now
I don't disagree with that. I think in theory,
the rankings of where they put these teams matter, and we have shown over and over and over again they don't get that part right. They put teams in weird spots all the time. And what did everybody say this year when everybody pointed out, why is this team in front of this team? Oh, don't worry about it. Just win your conference. It doesn't matter. You get one of the 4 spots. Well, now it does matter. And so now this committee that has shown time and time again, you can change the people in charge. You can change who's making the decisions. It is a flawed process. They constantly rank teams out of order.
So wait, if you win the conference, you don't get a guaranteed spot?
No. You get a guaranteed spot.
You get a guaranteed spot still in.
You're seeding. So like ASU would have been towards the back this year.
Yeah, so ASU would have been the same place they're at. Because they they got the bye, didn't we? We got the 4 seed.
ASU got the bye.
So we would have been 12. So
you would have had to play an extra game.
Well, probably would have, yeah.
You would have played an extra game.
You would have played an extra game, and who was 5?
You would have gone on the road to Texas.
Okay.
You would have played in Texas for that game.
The
committee, it's just more ways for the committee to screw stuff up. Honestly, it's more ways for the committee to be bad at their job.
I don't even disagree with you on that. I do think the best 4 teams should get a bye. Now, if the committee itself, that's the bigger question rather than.
What does best 4 mean? Because the committee is telling you with this news that in their mind, that means 1, 2, 3, 4.
Who were the best 4 teams last year in college football?
The best
when they announced the
ASU was not one of the best 4 teams, but they got one of the top 4 spots.
But they got one of the top 4 spots.
You could make the argument that when they made that final ranking, they were playing like one of the best 4 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
They were playing.
But you could never put them at 4 with 2 losses. You just can't do that.
More power for the committee.
Yeah. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it former Diamondback and just baseball legend, extremely good vibes guy, Gene Segura, announced his retirement.
A career that spanned the Brewers, the Mariners. I'm doing this all off the top of my head. The Brewers, the Mariners, the Diamondbacks, played a little bit for the Phillies. Is there a team that I'm missing in Gene Segura's journey? There is.
The Miami Marlins.
I forgot Gene Segura on the Miami Marlins.
And the LA Angels.
And the Angels.
Yep.
I remember him on the Marlins. I do not remember his Angels stint.
Ready for this?
Sure.
Apparently he was the team he was longest tenured with. Any guesses?
The team he was longest tenured with. I have 2 teams in my mind. I'll go Seattle.
It's the Phillies.
Really? My next guess was going to be the Brewers.
Yeah. He spent 3 full seasons in Milwaukee, finished up 2012 there, and then only the 1 year here, 2 years in Seattle, and then played 4 full seasons in Philadelphia, which is the longest he played anywhere.
Just a
2-time All-Star.
Just a player that played great defense, an awesome skill set, bat to ball, would put the ball in play. Anything hit on the infield, if it was a slow roller, he was beating it out at first base.
And he was so funny. He was not the guy you would think who would be fast because he's short and he's stocky. But he was fun to watch. Really, really liked watching him. Also, this picture on Baseball Reference, this?
Of Gene Segura?
Yes. Is him in a Cleveland uniform. And then you scroll down, he never played for Cleveland. So tad confused.
Interesting.
Yeah. So take that for what you will.
Okay. Was he with Cleveland in the spring? And that's what that picture is from?
Has to be.
Has to be what it's from. I don't remember from this past spring. But if he tried to make the Guardians, that might be where the picture is from.
By the way, also underrated last night. Couple things. One, I do want to touch on Juan Soto taking 7 straight pitches to start the game.
It was a choice.
And I didn't know if I was going to try to avoid it. Now I've decided to bring it up because I do think that it needs to be talked about.
It was a choice that he just decided to stare at the first 7 pitches of the game and didn't even feint that he was interested in swinging.
No.
They're not even like a check swing, nothing. Just bat on the shoulders for the first 7. It was a choice. He's struggling right now. He's struggling.
I think he's just in his own head.
He's in his own head. Yeah, and that happens. Listen, baseball is a long grind. It's 162 games. You are not going to be your best for 162. We were just talking about that in the last segment with Naylor and Smith. You're not going to be your best for 162. It's just, can you be your best for more often than not? And right now, it is a struggle for Juan Soto. That's going to do it for us, the Thursday edition of the program in the books. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. We will talk to you tomorrow. See ya!